Okay. So as a follow-up to the video that you just watched about the Matrix, um, this is something that Miss Lupe and I have been to various trainings and have talked about, and some of you were with us when we have created some of the expectations and gone over what works and what doesn't work. And we do have a matrix that hasn't been fully integrated or established at our site yet. So because of the situation that we are in right now with COVID and everything, this is a great opportunity to actually go over the matrix that's been created, get familiar with it, make corrections, talk about the reality of how this matrix is going to either help our site or where we think there might be some issues. I want you to look over it. This is the information that I'm going to be sending you through the email as a follow-up to the video that you watched, the training of the matrix. That you can watch that video over and over again. You can go on the Guru site with Fred and go through it again. But what we've created at our site is already established and welcome for change, since it hasn't been integrated or what's the other word I'm using for implemented yet. So it's a great time to make changes if we need to. Okay. So I'm just going to show you what you're going to be looking at, and it's our matrix that we've created. So I'm going to share screen right now, and okay. So this is our matrix. As Fred went over, these are different rules and expectations that are going to be for different types of settings. And, we put thought into this. We thought about what our kids go through, some of their issues that they go through. And we put down what we expect their behavior to be like. And this is supposed to be something that gets carried through each of these settings, where when they talk about you should have rules for each setting, like say during PE, Jasmine, you would have these rules up on a poster board that comes out with you on the rolly cart. Or when we go to supper in the cafeteria, we would have these rules up on a poster board when we go in there, and reinforce based off of kids following those rules. And as you can see over here, we used safety, respect, and responsible, because that is also part of the PBIS and matrix at our school. That when you see that little coyote poster on the door, that's what that's about. So we're creating rules even though we're not in school. We're an extension of the school day, and we're trying to make our rules connect with something that's already pre-established at the school already, hoping that because we're an extension of the school day, that also the extension of their PBIS flows with our PBIS, and it'll help the kids remember more. This is open for change, and this is the time where you can look at these things and say, well, I think we're missing something here, or there's too many rules here. How can we fine tune this and make it better as a team? And, this is something that, Miss Lupe and I have been told many times over, that this is a constant work in progress. This is never final, because our kids change, behaviors change. There's always going to be something different to work on. Just because, and you'll see me do that, and, and after we have conversations, sometimes, there's something new that pops up. 1 week it'll be throwing food, and the next week it's going to be cell phones, and over here in supper, I don't see anything about cell phones. But, there is stuff about eating your own food and having a calm body, which refers to not throwing food. So this is something that's a constant work in progress that we are, I think the words that they used, it's a living document, and it constantly needs to be updated. And that's why our communication is so important with one another, that when we have these debriefings at the end of the day about things that are new concerns for us, that we are talking about these new concerns and deciding whether or not it's happening at a level to where we need to change our matrix, because we might need to. So just keep that in mind. So this is our matrix. I'm going to share a different screen with you. This is the blank matrix that if you want to make updates to the living document that we have established already, or you see a better way to phrase something or make something more concise, easier for our kids to understand, I would like for you to use this document to update. If there's many things that you want to update or you see it being different. If there's one or two rules you just want to update, go ahead and email me, and then we can have, this is where we come together as a team and have these group discussions about, whether something needs to be a new rule or not. It's actually pretty heavy because we all have to follow it, and the people that come after you have to follow it. Okay. And if there's changes that need to be made, then we have a meeting about it, and then we follow those new rules. But there's nothing that we move forward on without doing it as a team. Okay. So this is the blank slate that was on the Guru site. Again, we already have a matrix in place. And I want you guys to consider what Fred said about keeping it concise to 20 rules or expectations. Now, I think Ms. Lupe and I were talking about this, that we probably have too many. So a good thing for you to focus on is how do we make it, it's got to be, 3 to 5, I believe, for each setting, and 20 as a whole. How do we edit that? How do we make it easier for us and for the kids? Because if they can't remember, then, that's not going to be helpful for us. And if we can't remember, then, sometimes that, we're doing those little things by the door where we're asking them to name an expectation or a rule, and we give them reinforcement. But sometimes they get caught in a loop and just repeat the same expectations over. And that's an indicator that we might have too many. And I know we do right now. So it needs to be revised. But that's good. This is good. So again, if you have many changes to make, please use this document. If you just have a few, just go ahead and email them to me, and then we'll consistently have these conversations. And the last document that I want to share with you is this one, which is on Fred's site as well. The verifying your matrix. This is the part where that you are going to be uploading into your own personal PBIS, where it's under the matrix module. That it's just like a little question and answer Jeopardy type of thing. So what is one example of being responsible in the classroom? And raise your hand as an example. Over here, you could put, how do we respect each other in a line? We keep our hands and bodies to ourselves. How do we respect, so it's all going to have to do with safety, respect, or responsibility, and how familiar you are with our matrix. So quickly quiz staff students via a bingo game. So this is something that could be used with our students at the door too, and reinforcing them with tickets or whatever new reinforcement we have in place, token economy we have in place. It says, or via Jeopardy type game on the matrix, create your answers and questions here. Students and staff can be quizzed with the same questions. The quiz will be given to new staff. So we are establishing a precedent and guidelines for also new people that are coming in. And, depending, if you guys are here with us for a long time or not, this is something that we can continue, because these things, these basic rules and respect, these things don't change. We will, the living document is something that backs up the consistency that we already have established. So at the end of the week, give one final game where the winner gets the highest score and will be awarded. So we're just always going to use this, but this is the part where you fill out your own question and answers, and you're going to upload that to the site for points. Okay. Otherwise, I want you guys to look over the matrix. let me make sure. Is it here? No, that's not it. Just want to make sure I have everything for you guys. Team module. I just want to go over this real quick. So when I pressed start, the YouTube before this, the longer video was everything that was in here and about us going through our matrix. So download the Verifying Your Matrix worksheet, create quiz questions based on your matrix, which I just showed you. Just want to make sure I have everything here. Use the document to quiz new staff, so we can, do that together whenever we meet up again. Repeat the flash matrix quizzes throughout the first few weeks of school. So this is for our students and for us whenever we get back. And at the end of the week or weeks, one final, okay, so this is when we get back into school. So the verifying matrix I just showed you, and you're gonna upload it right over here, okay? And then after that's all done, we can move on to the desired outcomes. And that will be our last module, and I'm going to try and make that easier for us as well. So don't necessarily worry about creating a matrix. I want you to focus on, you're focusing on reviewing the matrix that's already in place and seeing where the edits can be made, where we're consistently having those conversations. Your main focus is just to turn in that verifying the matrix sheet, which means that you've reviewed our pre-established matrix and you are using it to help you with your verifying the matrix worksheet and turning that in, okay? That's about it. All right. Any questions, you just go ahead and let me know.